We are live, and we are going to do this right now. And good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Welcome back to my channel. I'm Pierre, your host, and we are going to start off today with a pretty long monologue because for those of you who were here 1 week ago today, I was doing my stream like I always do, right? And at one point in the middle of painting, as I was about to tackle the shadowing of little orange planets, I turn to the computer, I check it out, and what do I see? I see a lovely black screen. So I go over to the computer, I try to do the Control Alt Escape, trying to fidget around to figure out why suddenly the whole stream went dead on me. And by checking it out more closely, I realized my computer had died. The motherboard, the CPU, kaput, completely dead, major bummer. So I went over to a friend's that afternoon, talked about it, watched a little bit of the Tour de France. The next morning, that's last Tuesday, I ordered a new computer. I got myself Victus by HP, which is a pretty cheap gaming laptop. Still cost me like 1,200-1,300 bucks. But anyways, I had no choice, so I bought that, and I received that on Wednesday. So that was pretty quick. I was expecting it on Thursday, got it on Wednesday, and then we started that major uh, task of updating everything. So I've been into the computer business for like since the mid 1990s. So I have taken a lot of time in my past of making, getting external drives and making backups of everything of my files. So that's basically what I did. So I wasn't too worried, except that on my old laptop, what I did is that with the first thing I did with my old laptop is get, of course, another 8 gigas of RAM. So I would have 16 gigabytes of RAM. And then the second thing I did is I bought an SSD card that I put in. So I had my SATA hard drive that came with the computer. I cloned that operating system onto my new SSD card that I got. And then I replaced it and used the SSD card as my operating system default card. And I used that 1 terabyte external drive as my backup drive for all my files. So I put everything, all my most of my files, my music, my movie files, my OSB Streamlabs files, all that. Even my documents, I had them aim and download files, everything onto this 1 terabyte drive. And of course, the only thing I could not put was the stuff that was on my C drive, right, which is the OS system. And of course, through the years, you tend to get lazy. I did make several backups of all my films and stuff, but to make things easier for myself, I put a lot of my newer films and my little, you know, what's it called? My little recaps that I do on a daily basis after every stream. I make a 15, 30-second recap. I put that in the file. And to make things easier, I just put that on my desktop, right? And as you know, the desktop goes onto key files and isn't really backed up. So I wasn't too worried. I realized I lost 2 or 3 of my last paintings, not the paintings themselves or the pictures of the paintings, but I basically lost all the little recap films that I had and that I was going to make, after all, a 3-minute recap of how I made that particular painting. So I lost 2 or 3 paintings on that. So that was kind of a drag. So I took my 1 terabyte SATA hard drive there that was on my first computer, and then I hooked it up. Before I received my new laptop, I hooked it up to see if all my files were there, what was missing. So I had a pretty good idea. I waited for my new laptop. I put in my 1 terabyte drive in there, and guess what happened? Of course, the computer says files are corrupt, does not work, can't read this hard drive. I don't understand why, but anyway, so I went and looked at the hard drive on and see what was the matter. If there any, my Windows converted my hard drive and all my files into a raw file, a raw format. So I couldn't read any of my backed up and saved files. Major drag. So of course, I went on the internet, looked up how I could by going into, the DOS and how to figure out how to. I found a French guy who had showed a way of converting the raw files into an NTSF files without losing anything on the drive, without formatting it. So I figured, okay, I'm going to try that. I have no choice anyways. So I tried that. I do all the go into, disk part and clean and whatever. And it worked. It put my drive into an STSF format, except there were no files. It looked like it had formatted the whole goddamn 1 terabyte drive. Major drag again. So what did I do there? Fortunately, on my home PC, I had a program which is, get data back. So I was able to install that, hook up my SATA 1 terabyte, go through the whole damn thing, find my missing files, not all of them, I would say a good 80% of them. Not at first. At first, I couldn't find that much. And then I tried a different way of like looking at the erased files and stuff. And that's when I found 80% of my files. So it was a big sigh of relief then, as it is right now. So I got that done. That took a whole day an afternoon. And then the next 2 days, no matter when you have a new computer or you're changing computers, well, since all the programs are on your C drive, which is the operating system, you have to reinstall all your programs. Now, reinstalling all your programs is pretty easy to do. The only thing that's a drag is that you have to, again, tweak them so they look like the way they were before and they make you happy. And so you can find things working the way they were. Unfortunately, on my programs, on my C file, on my operating system, I had my Streamlabs files. So I had all my OBS files on my hard drive, which I was able to save, but the actual program files were lost because they were on that first C drive, which is my operating system drive. So what am I going to do? And that means I have to redo everything. That's hours and hours of work. And fortunately, Streamlabs is such an awesome program. I'm using the free version because I just stream to, I don't go to Twitch or anything else or Facebook. I just do one program. And if you just broadcast to one program, it's free. And the awesome thing about Streamlabs is that, and I didn't know this, but when you, whatever you do, they save it onto the cloud. So I was able to go back to Streamlabs, put in my login and whatever, and took a few minutes maybe. And then the day I found out everything, how I had set it up, working just the way I left it when my computer broke. So that was pretty cool. All I had to do, of course, since the path between the operating system and my program to the files were different since I have a new computer, right? So I had to just change maybe 4, 5, 6 little paths to get things working well. So that was pretty cool. So today I showed up with my computer, hooked it up. Was a little worried. I wasn't sure if it was going to find my my microphone right away. I wasn't sure if it was going to find the cameras right away. And I wasn't sure if it was going to detect the router. So I came in a little bit early and all that went pretty fine. I didn't even have to put a password for the router, which seemed a little weird, but it found it right away and installed it because I have that hooked up with an Ethernet cable rather than Wi-Fi. And then, of course, it detected the cameras, as you might have noticed when I started. It didn't detect them. All I had to do is just, again, show the right path and the right camera. So I checked also my shortcuts, everything seems to be working. So anyways, this is a very long monologue, more of a computer tech course rather than painting. But after being away for a week, I can't wait to get to work. Yesterday, I was crawling up the walls at home because I had finally, around 2 in the afternoon, I had finished transferring all my files. I have like 200 gigas of films that I've been doing over the last few years that I wanted to put in my new computer. Of course, I have several gigas of music that I wanted to transfer also. So anyways, finally got everything done around 2 in the afternoon yesterday. And the rest of the day, I just couldn't wait to get back into the studio and get back to painting on this guy that's right behind me. So usually we start off by, not by this kind of a monologue, but we go over to the computer, we check out a quick recap of what we did the day before. In this case would be Friday. I hope you all had a wonderful weekend, by the way. But anyways, so we're not going to do the recap since I have no recap since the whole thing died on me. So we're going to just tackle and start this new painting. First of all, I'm going to start off by checking it out. So what I want to do, of course, I want to put the shading on these planets, and I'm going to also do a little bit of details on these plants because the plants are now in the background, and we are going to be adding on top of that more and more details, more and more plants before we tackle our main subject. So I'm exhausted. So that said, I'm going to go over here, and I'm going to switch over to camera number 2, and guess I'm going to bring this Instagram camera, right? Because playing around with 3 cameras is not enough. We have to add the Instagram camera as well, make things even more tough, more interesting, more of a challenge, right? So we got that done. And what am I going to do? I thought I would start off by doing a little bit of shading on this blue cerulean leaves. And then I was going to put some more details on all my leaves. That's basically what I was going to do. If we have some time, we would add some shadow to, to our planet. So, cerulean blue, where are you, my? This is it? No, it is. It must be good. So let me just grab a little palette here. Just a little bit of blue. I don't need much because I don't have much of a surface. And all I'm going to do is just add a little bit of shadowing on the leaves. And then later on, I will come with a different, much lighter, just to add the details. So these back of it, just wanted to do a little shading. I'm going to put teensy weensy bit of white paint right. Kind of brush. I'm going to soft teensy white paint. Make my cerulean slightly lighter. My hair is flopping all over the place because not only did I wash it, but I have the fan over there. No way in the world I'm going to turn that fan off. It is a nice toasty 80 degrees out. Summer is here for sure. So what do I have? Water. this will do the trick. Let me get my cameras ready like I always do. So I bring this guy. And I'm going to bring camera number 1 over here. I'm going to start off with these leads here. So this baby, a little bit right there. Okay, so I'm going to bring over on the side because I want to be in front of the lens. Then we're going to tackle these guys. And I'm just switch over to camera number 1. See that I have the right shade. I know that my paint is going to dry a little darker and get a little darker eyes. Hesitant on my blue. I have a feeling it's a little too dark. Illustrating. Okay, just like that. Before I go in and put it in here. And it's just the back end. Okay, there we go. And very quickly, let that dry. So next color. I'm going to go with turquoise green. I'm going to make this a lot lighter. part of the show where I start pitching, because again, when you get down to this much of paint left in the can, this is so narrow, you can't help getting it without putting it all over your hand. Real pain in the neck compared to these kind of cans where you can obviously get the last drop. Cans were designed by people who obviously never painted, use their product. Sitting at his desk, drawing up beautiful jars, using them to work or practical. Okay, so let's get some white paint now. Circle green. I'm gonna make this nice and light. Oh my God. Bonjour. Well, hi. Tu m'as coupé. Bon, that was DJ.
Yes, to see you.
Nice to see you too. See you later. There we go. Little visit friends. Nice. And continue. You can tell I haven't painted in a while. I'm taking the time to talk my head off. I can't wait to get to work instead. So I'm going to get this. And we're going to blend in paints together on camera. Get a jar of water. I'll put it here, and I'll bring this baby over as well. There's our turquoise green or white. I want this to be nice and light colored. Just blend all this in. I'm not going to use all the turquoise green right off. First, I'm going to get the right texture of paint to make sure that I have enough. What we'll be doing is basically going to be working on this here, adding details to these leaves right here. So obviously, I want everything to be a lot lighter than what's on canvas. Churn this homogeneous system. A little bit more green, make it darker. Everybody see it? Nice green texture. I don't want to add too much water because I want it to stay nice and opaque. Possible. Then trying it now on the canvas to see where it's going to be not too light. And I think maybe I can add just a tad more of turquoise to make it a little bit darker. Look up at my camera now. One, look, telephone, complaining all week. I'm not going to bitch now. Happy to be back in the studio, painting. I'm not painting. I'm not sure my life is worth. I enjoy life so much, but not doing anything is a thing. Okay, so this looks pretty good. I'll add water to this as I go along. And I'm going to have to switch paintbrushes because this is way too big, too wide. And I noticed I didn't switch on my computer the camera number one. So waste of, oops, get back in the groove now. Not only juggling with all the cameras, but remembering to switch on my computer. Switch cameras on the computer as well. So that there, this camera over here. I'm going to bring my bar stool over to sit down and which means what? Which means I'm going to move this camera over whisker and move this guy over bounce legs. And zoom for this. Switch over to camera. Not forget. Comfortable. Still going to move this. Zoom in a little bit more. Instagram camera out of. There will be a black outline when this is done. That's why there's still white there. It's no big deal. All that will be hidden. Thanks to that outline, it gives me plenty of room to screw up. able to catch it later. I'm working from left to right, obviously, so I don't put my hand in the wet paint. I need to do quite frequently. Exactly what I did here, paint, nothing like a little rag and drive up, clean things up. Here. Mhm. There'll be plants and other things going on top of all this. Working from left to right and avoid hands in paint. Okay. Good. Here. Same thing here. Here. Packing this guy next. Here we're going to go back to the real blue. A little more paint. Here you are. Paint parts. Okay. And with if this is a little dark or a little light, it doesn't really. Use up all the stuff. Paste. Pretty good. Now the entire little bit bigger than the other one. Maybe a little more. I'd rather have enough because it takes some more afterwards. Have the colors match. It's always a challenge. So yeah, the price perfectly well. No waste. For the I sometimes I do quite a bit miscalculate paint. I paint it. So let's again a little bit blue, white, just blend all. See this almost the same. Do either gonna have, I'm gonna have light as some precision, white or sticky. Little kind of a little bit lighter. I think I should maybe just peanuts, just like sure it does. darkens all the, when the paint darkens, it tends to start. And the paint dries, tendency to darken. So since this is a little bit light, I'm afraid when it blends in the background. Sure that it's a lot light factor and this baby blue. Street. Pretty damn good. He took it a little creamy, nice and thick, nice and opaque as canvas. No way we're this this together. Cameras not together. Well, and let's bring them in a little. Okay, so I'm going to use the same paintbrush. I'm not going to darken much. A little worried. We won't know until tomorrow. Turn around. Jesus. Nice. Right, something like that. Just to hide this little bit of that. See already where it's drawing, that it's blending into my background is a major drag, which would mean I will have to do this over tomorrow. See right here, example, fan is drying in quicker, not as thick as other places. You can see it's already totally blending right. That is a drag. Should have made it even lighter than I thought I had it, but worry about that tomorrow. And so let's get down to the green baby down here now. Two. So what am I going to do? I'm going to just very quickly go over to my computer here. Pick out, since this is the first stream I've ever done with this computer, I just want to make sure everything is going okay. Your stream quality is good. 13% CPU, 30 frames per second, 0 drop frames, and I'm uploading at 2,500 kilobytes. Usually it's around 4,000, 5,000. So the quality on this is not going to be that great. So I will have to change this for tomorrow's stream. I'm not going to, well, actually, maybe I will stop right now. It's been an hour and we've been painting. So maybe I will stop right until I figure out really what, how to fix all this stuff up. Let me bring this over here. So anyways, I'm going to thank you for joining me. I hope you're all doing well. And I hope you'll join me tomorrow as we continue and I work out all these little quirks. So have a great day. Ciao, mes amis. Good. back to my YouTube stream. Let me put here general view of the painting from camera number 1. And I'm going to do the same thing from camera number 2 over here. So there's camera number 2, camera number 1, and camera number 3. So my friends, thank you very much for joining me. I hope you'll join me tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. or 3 p.m. if you're living in France, or 7:30 if you're living in Mumbai. Anyways, I'm going to leave you like I always do with 2 things. I'm going to leave you with my schedule and by saying, ciao mes amis.